Mm. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered Call-In Show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Hello. How are you? How's it going? Hopefully you are having a wonderful start to your week. All right? Hopefully you're having a wonderful start to your week. I guess I am. I've had some good things happen today. So anyway, before I get started, welcome to the Unfiltered Call-In Show. My name is Devon Morris. I am your guide on this journey that we are having together today. Received a couple messages just a second ago, so let me double check something to make sure I'm not crazy here. So I'm just taking a look for the sake of it. Let's see. So that being said, yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. Today we got a good topic. The topic will be about shutdown management, right? Shutdown management will be the topic of the day. And just so you know, you will see me in various places. I may even decide to change the camera up on you like that. I just be trying different things and doing things to see how it all work out. But, just having fun over here. We're going to talk about shutting down management, understanding maybe some of their perspectives, and then how to shut down a lot of things that you need to do or deal with in terms of them. But before we do that, let's talk about what's going on. Last week, I had a good CSM, CSPO class. This week, I have some amazing advanced classes that are going on, advanced CSPO, advanced CSM. Good people in the class. We are having a good time, just a lot of exchange of information, so I'm enjoying that. Next week, I got a CSP Scrum Master. Right, so just taking people up to that next level, and then I need to get scheduled. No joke. I'm going to go ahead and schedule the CSP PO, so that I can get that one done. I just needed to get a few more product on the classes going before, because we do less product on the classes than obviously Scrum Master classes, because certain things are more generalist versus others, and so that's how it's kind of dealt with. Let's see what else is going on. Probably next month we'll have probably a 4-day version of CSPO, the half day, and then we'll have a weekend CSM, and I'm probably going to put back out there the weekend CSPO. Probably going to, because I don't know, I took it down for some reason, and I can't tell you why I did. I thought that my daughter had something, and she told me she don't, so I don't know who told me to take it down or what to do, but I just kind of did it. I took off my watch because it's, I don't feel like, having, being sweaty there. So that being said, you are on a call-in show. So it is, if you have any questions, you have any comments, you want to talk about how things have been going, answer questions about Scrum, Agile, entrepreneurship, man, we could talk about family if you want to. I'm good to go with that. I have fun with that. But you are always welcome to call in. And later, I will make sure I copy the call in, and then I will make sure that I throw the call in up in the various chat areas. A lot of times when I send out the link to our group, we have people that join us like in the morning. It always happens every time I send it out. And so it's something that I don't worry about anymore, but I always see it happens, and it always gives me a good chuckle. So, I'm just pleasantly surprised by that. So if you're in the LinkedIn world, please wave, say hi, so I can, at least know that you're there. A lot of people look at this later. If you plan to look at this later, guess what? It's on YouTube, right? If you are currently on YouTube, you are welcome to go ahead and, throw something in the chat as well. So for those who want to ask a question, you can ask that question by, it's one of two ways. You can either join the show by joining the link, and I'm going to drop that link on LinkedIn right now. You can come to that link, and in about 10 minutes, so about 15 to 20 minutes after, is when we'll start allowing people to come on the show and when we'll start answering questions about the show. But I'm here to answer your questions, so I'm here as long as you need me to be, and we'll just conversate and talk until our time is up. So I always leave a time box of being done, on the upcoming hour, wherever you're located at. So this should be a good time, should be fun. So LinkedIn, say hi. And then YouTube, I just got to go over there real quick and make sure that I see you all in the comments, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I throw the actual link out there for you too. And so if you want to join, call in. Those are the links, one in YouTube, one on LinkedIn for you to join us on. All right, so let's talk about the topic of the day, management shutdown. Management shutdown. There isn't anything difficult in terms of what I'm going to tell you. Matter of fact, I would say to you that nothing about this is surprising. The first place where I'm going to go is to offer a perspective, right? A lot of times, and I was having a conversation about this today, I have somebody in class who was in a situation where the company had few $1 million failure, like literally multiple $1 million in a failure, related to Agile, okay, related to Scrum, related to all the multiple millions of dollars, right? And he's curious as to how to get people out, management out of his daily Scrums and every other meeting. And my statement clearly was this: they got a right to be there. They really got a right to be there, right? Because the thing that you have to remember is their past experience is saying, no go, no go. This is not good. This may not turn out good. And maybe last time when that, multiple $1 million failure happened, they wasn't as engaged. But now it's probably going to be some heads chopped, some necks chopped, and then heads rolling. It's probably going to be all kinds of things happen if it happens again, right? And so, if I'm management and I seen that happen, I probably would get myself more engaged. It's just facts. I would probably get myself more engaged because it only makes sense. It's one of the best things that I know how to do. Okay? Is get myself involved. So I believe that past experience is a good indicator, right? If you really think about it, this year was the 21st anniversary of Agile. And, there were people doing frameworks related to, Agile, right? So Scrum and XP and others have been around already. And so since the mid 90s, right, minimum. And you start thinking to yourself like, okay, so let's say it's been around 30 years. Well, it's really caught on in the past few years in a lot of different industries, like in software and everything else. People are, literally around, right? But when it comes down to where we're at right now, we're just in a situation where sometimes past experience trumps everything else. So just so we know, it's like, and you expect their experience to not matter. Well, that's not going to be true. Their experience is important, and you have to recognize their experience. And for anyone that's called us right now, just hold up. We go to about 15 minutes after. So give us a few minutes, and we will be with you. Okay, so a past bad experience or several past experiences could have a huge impact. Could have a huge impact on someone's feelings in terms of how they are or how they're going to be with this process. And you need to acknowledge that, right? Another thing is the culture may have a mindset that doesn't gel well with this whole Scrum and Agile and Kanban or whatever you utilize. I mean, the culture might be a certain way. Like you might have a culture that is litigious, right? Or you might have a culture that is truly prefers to do lots of negotiating, right? And that's really counter to collaboration, right? And so, realistically, your culture could drive certain aspects or can impact you in certain ways. And so you got culture, you got different types of personalities. You have that flavored by whatever experiences that they may have. So it's really important for you to understand that is what it is. And it takes time to change culture. It really does take time to change culture. Something else that is important is over the years, they have built kingdoms. They have built structures. They have built these political, I guess political structures. So the organizational structure and culture is important, but the politics tend to influence or can help people navigate things, and people don't like to change political systems, right? And so why would I give up power if I'm going to something new when I don't have no power in that? Realistically, we're saying to them, hey, just change the way you deal with your roles or change how you act and change what you do. And we really don't give them anything on the other side to really go to that resembles or reflects something that they want to have from where they've been. So literally, you got to start saying to yourself, does it make sense? I mean, if you was in their position, would it make sense for you to actually change? Would it make sense for you to actually go ahead and establish or make that change happen? And for many of you, if it was your money, your time, you would say no to that. It would be a resounding no. So you should put yourself in their shoes from time to time so you can try to relate and understand what they're going through and why they are in the position that they're in. This is really important for you to do. It's super important for you to do. And so just take a moment and kind of put yourselves in their shoes, walk in their shoes a little bit, try to understand why they are in that position. I always say to people, if you want to, and I'm flipping now, let's talk about shutting folks down, okay? Because the idea is that you need to shut them down is what you need to do. So if you want to get past all that stuff, you're going to have to find ways to shut them down. Now, I always say the best thing to do is to deliver. If you haven't heard me say that before, you're hearing it right now. My statement is, if you really want to shut people down, then shut your mouth up and go and deliver, because success breeds more success, right? And so if you do that, you're going to win. But the question is, are they going to give you an opportunity to even try? And they may not even give you an opportunity to try, is my point, right? But you still need to find a way to win, okay? And one of the things that you have to understand is there's a big difference between coming in and trying to change everything versus maybe what you need to do is you need to do what I'm going to call little bitty small experiments. Right? Just some little experiments, right? Just some little things so you can get some small wins that can give you more ground to get larger wins over time. Now, this strategy takes time, but it's the strategy that I always utilize because I'm always going into cultures that it's not necessarily keen on this whole Scrum thing. They're just not all the way with it. So it's one of those things where I try my best to just probably start with small wins. Probably start with small experiments. For example, you start off a sprint. Deliver at the end of that sprint. You know what I'm saying? You got these 2 weeks or this 1 week or whatever it is, deliver. It's like doing a pilot. It's like running a little bit of experiment, right? So have those small wins so you can gain the trust. So you can gain the trust that you need to. And here's the deal. A lot of people think that that means in production, or that means that you are able to give it to the customer. That doesn't mean that. Small little experiment could be so you can simply get feedback on something, right? But it may be significant. It may not be significant. It likely won't be significant, right? Because if you sit up there and try to do everything on something that is super significant, and you cause a nice big disruption, woo! You're probably gonna get walked out the door. Okay? So be really careful, and maybe the place in order to start getting those wins is you start getting those wins in smaller ways. Okay? Now, if you start getting those wins in smaller ways, now you can start to change people's mindset, right? Because one of the things that you need to do is you need to give them some level of safety as well. You got to remember, we always think about psychological safety in terms of us, but the idea is that management, they got family to feed, don't they? They got people that they love and care about. They got careers that they want to have. They got things that they've earned over time, and now this can jeopardize that. So you got to give them a little bit of safety. You got to make them feel like the change is going to be worth it. There's a win in it for them in some kind of way. Everybody's not altruistic, but even if they are altruistic, you still want it to be a win for them. I always promote that normally the early adopters, when I go into the organization, and normally the ones that get the fastest promotions, is classically what I see in reality. And so like when I go back to some organizations years later, I find that the people that I was working with are in higher positions, and normally we have built some trust, and it allows me to be able to do even more with that organization. But a lot of times it takes me starting something and doing something with them and firing myself to some degree, right? Getting myself up out of there by teaching them everything I know, and then going ahead and say, hey, just come back when you need some more, but we've done enough for now, right? So you got to allow them to participate in this process. You got to allow them to feel safe in this process, and you have to win. If you don't win, if you don't deliver, it's done. It's done. Don't nobody care about anybody's process. They really care about winning. And so you want to be in a position where you can actually win. And if you put yourself in a position where you can actually win, where everybody can win, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, right? And so I say that to you because that's what my experience has been like. Every time I've really won, it's been starting with small wins, unless I've come in a position in the organization where I can have massive change happen. But when I come in on a ground level and I'm working directly with a bunch of developers, when I say developers, anybody that's working on any aspect of whatever we're building, I'm working with a team. I'm usually not at the highest of levels, right? And so I want to get down there and I want to have some wins is what I want to do. Above and beyond anything else, I want to have some wins, okay? So that being said, that's how you shut management down. That's how you shut down management, period, okay? Just remember, they're people too. They have concerns. They have everything else. You got to make them feel safe. And you got to make sure that you win through delivery. So on that note, that's all we're going to say about that. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and open up the lines, okay? If you have been here already, then do me a favor. Nobody said hi to me. Make sure you say hi to me so I know you've been around. Check in with me. Say hello so I can know I'm not here by myself. And right now, I'm dropping in the chat the link to join me on the channel. In case you have any questions. But I have someone that's waiting in the queue right now, and I'm going to go ahead and open up and start having conversations. If you have any questions and you don't want to join the show, that's perfectly fine. You are welcome to drop your question in the comments. And I always will come around to the comments, but just remember that guests on a show take priority always. Always, always, always. So let us get ourselves going. We're about 20 minutes into this thing. So I am going to take a look and I'm going to position and grab my first guest here and bring her in. You are live. Look, how are you doing? Now I don't hear you right now. Let me see. Are you got yourself muted? You got to
I got
unmute
it.
yourself. There you
I was
go.
muted.
Okay.
All right.
How you doing?
So I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I just got back from work. Um, so I'm a scrum master at Sony Pictures
You
Entertainment.
you were in my class, oh Mose.
I was.
There you
I
go.
was.
Okay. All right. So how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm
Okay.
doing really good.
All right. So tell me what's going on. You have a question.
I do. So, how do you deal with an agile coach
Mm-hmm.
who wants to go very fast and they've described the system as broken
Mm-hmm.
and that they're tired, they want to move to a different project, and you're new
Mm-hmm.
and they want you to take on as many teams as possible so they can move to the next thing. How do you deal with this?
Well, here's a question. So I got a couple questions for you. So let me help myself understand this a little more, so then I can be good to go. Um, Now, you all report to the same people,
We do.
okay? And the people that you report to, they have control over your pace and how fast you go, if I'm correct, right?
Hmm.
And you have had conversations with those people, your manager, your directs, right? You've had conversations with them about your path, yes?
Yeah, well, I just had this conversation last week.
Okay, great. So
And
let's talk about it, right? So you had a conversation with your higher up about their expectations of you, yes?
hmm
Okay. And do they expect you to take on all these things immediately?
they expect,
Mm-hmm.
they want to work on the same project as the agile coach.
So
So they
everybody's trying
want,
to dump everything on you.
it feels like that.
Okay. Okay. That's not a good situation, and that's not how things should be. Now, here's a good question. This thing that they're trying to dump off, what's wrong with it?
Well, from what I'm from what I've examined,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been watching 5 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of teams still on waterfall methodology.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Scrum, but it's not, or it looks like Kanban, but it's not. It's waterfall.
Yeah.
So everyone's trying to take on as many projects as possible. And what's happening is the points are going to another sprint or another.
Okay.
It's just too much happening. People are taking on too much.
Okay.
So yeah.
So here's a question. I'm gonna ask you to reframe this, right? Because you wanted to be in a position where you could do more scrum, right?
Hmm. Or agile.
And now you're in a position where they're trying to give it all to you.
Hmm.
There's some there's something to be proud about in that. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we tend to be, wanting desire things so much when we don't have it. And I remember us talking in class and how this was something that you wanted and that you desired, and now you got the realness of it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, here's the truth, right? You can sit up here and complain about this all day, right? But I'm gonna tell you a Devonism so you understand. Okay? I have grown the most. I have gained the most experience from always being put on the worst things in the building.
You're right. Yeah.
And it has probably tripled, quadrupled my experience, because all experience is not the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people's year of doing Scrum, if you really look at it, it may have been, maybe 3 months total of doing Scrum. And some
Mm-hmm.
people, it is truly 2,000 plus hours of doing Scrum. I look at it like this: the more experience I get, the more I can charge you later.
Yep.
So give me my experience while I'm at this cheap rate as fast as possible, because you will not be able to afford me later.
Mm. I mean, it's a great rate. It's a great rate.
But
Um,
it always can be better, is my point. And
from
whether it's better or not better, you can be in a position where if it's the same, you can choose what your future looks like in the future based on the type of experience that you're getting. And then you
exactly.
may decide to want to do things like train or coach even more, or do all this kind of stuff. And you get to be able to do that by getting your stories. So now, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. And this is crazy, because what I'm going to say to you is probably how I would behave. Forget all these Scrum people for a second. It's just you and me talking, right? All the Scrum people might say, hey, you know what? This is all unfair. But the question is, when you was in class, or before you came to my class, if somebody would have gave you this exact opportunity, you'd have been like, I'm game. I'm super happy to take it.
Yeah.
Okay? And even though I'm going to say to you it's probably wrong, and I'm going to say to you it's probably not much you can do about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume that those two things are true, because that's the worst case scenario. There's nothing you can actually do about this situation, and that you're kind of stuck at dealing with it. So now my question for you is, why can't you make the best of it and do what I would do? Knock it out the park.
Yeah.
Because if you knock this out the park, and the amount of experience you get from this will be super amazing. Almost I went from having two teams that was roughly 10 people each, right? Each team, two teams, in October. And then in January, they gave me a 200-person portfolio, 17 different teams. 17 different teams. Did I care? No. I walked in there and I looked at it like it was a gold mine. I'm over here like, all these experiments that I could run on all these people here is going to help me learn everything that I ever wanted to learn in life. I'm over here, I got one team that is doing story points. I got another team that's estimating using gummy bears. I got another team that's over here like, okay, we're not gonna prioritize. I got a team over here that don't got a product owner. I got a team over here that do got a product owner. And I ain't doing nothing but running experiments. And guess what every experiment does for me? Gets my experience to keep rising.
Yeah.
So in tough times, like, when my people's people were slaves, they found a way to turn chitlins into a delicacy.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? They found a way to turn chitlins into a delicacy. So my question is, and realistically what I want to ask you, is how can you take this opportunity for a company that everybody knows about? Like, you're talking about a company that everybody knows that company's name. Like, I I guarantee you, I got a couple of their products right now, right around here. I guarantee you, I recently went to go see Spider-Man. I guarantee you. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be able to put another name like that on your resume? Do you understand? I mean, do you know how good I feel having State Farm on my resume? You know how good it feels to have Disney on my resume? Johnson and Johnson on my resume? Marc Jacobs on my resume? The Marines, the Air Force on my resume? The USAA, Allstate on my resume? Do you know how good it feels to have them on my resume? But when I was at USA, I had a 200-person portfolio. And we delivered the first product where you scan a check and deposit in the bank. Yeah, every other team didn't do that well. I agree. But the amount of stuff I learned sent me to Sears. The amount of stuff that I learned sent me to Johnson & Johnson after that. The amount of stuff that I learned brought me back there to that same company, USA, to have a super major experience and ultimately turn $6 million into $40 million worth of return on investment. This happened in 2012, and that MSR lab is still around. So my question for you is a little different. My question for you is, why are you complaining?
You're right.
You know, you're getting paid great money. You've been getting paid money that you've been dreaming about getting paid. And now we complaining because they being a little unfair in a scrummish kind of way. Just think about it, right? It's a first world problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are people out here starving. There's some people starving to be in your position.
Yeah.
So now, my question is, how can we turn these lemons into lemonade?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I look at it, I'm going to say to you, hey, you're in a suck right now. It's okay. It's okay. Because you get the experience you need, you ain't going to be in a suck for very long.
Right.
And that's the key, is to get experience at a pace faster than other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because all experience isn't equal. What you're about to do is you're about to have what I'm going to call dense experience.
Mm-hmm.
The density of your experience is going to be so tremendous that it's going to be people that cannot touch you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
You know, it's like when I'm in class. When I'm in class, right? Somebody asks a question. And I pull from something that I don't even remember. But that question is what triggered me to remember that experience. You understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I know story points work a particular way? It's that experience of having that 200-person portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had us use hours in estimating. I had us do story point estimation where it was kind of not relative. I had us use points in all kinds of ways. I probably ran about 6 story point experiments on those different teams. And here's the crazy part about it. Let me tell you what's crazy. Management didn't even care, didn't even know. Do you understand? I'm running experiments or things that I want to do because the truth is, you ain't gonna get it all done. Like, you just ain't gonna have time to do everything. So you're gonna be setting up some meetings here, setting up some meetings there, doing this, doing that, and you're not gonna be able to be perfect at helping any one team be great. But now the question is, could you focus on the things that could help everybody be a little bit better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now I would ask you this question. Right now, as you think about right now, before you even walk in the door tomorrow, can you think of right now 3 things that you can do that would be a small test that would allow you to gain favor. We were just talking about shutting down management. That's what we was talking about. And what I'm saying to you is I want you to put yourself in a position where you can shut down management, because if you put yourself in a position where you get those teams to be delivering consistently, you know who's going to get the biggest voice in the whole agile world over there? Because does management really care about agile? They care about delivery, right?
I think so, mainly. Yeah.
And so now my question for you is this. What can you do starting tomorrow? What can you do starting tomorrow? You understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
So then I ask you this, right? You're on the ground, I would call it a breeding ground, where you could learn so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was faced with that problem, I ran Scrum on myself. So I could make sure every day I was evaluating my situation. I was trying to get the most out of every single day. Like when I say literally, I would go have a conversation with a person, right? Person right here. And if I taught them something and it was one thing they didn't quite get, I'm talking about that to myself. And what do I need to know to make that conversation smoother? To get them to understand it faster. You understand?
Yeah.
Like I'm doing changes like that. So then I'm going home at night and I'm just, okay, I didn't know anything about this particular concept right here. Let me read up on that so I'm ready to go the next day. So I'm not running into that problem again.
Right.
So now I'm not going to say to you, because if I was really coaching you on the ground, because understand, we're not in class right now. In class, I have to teach you ideally what Scrum is. But that ain't real.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't real. Right?
Yeah.
That ain't real. But here, I don't have to talk like that. I don't have to talk like that at all. And if I was on the ground and we were in the building and I was right there coaching with you, I'll say to you, come on now, let's go do this. Let's go do this. Let's go see which of these teams we can make crazy successful.
Mm.
And then you know what we're going to do? We're just going to go lunch every day. So we can crown each other's shoulders so we can get through this together. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm your boy, you my girl. We going to get through this together. And we're going to make sure we make it happen. And we're going to come out on the other side. And people going to look and be like, it was y'all that did this? Most certainly. Right? Most certainly. So now I'm telling you to just switch your mindset, because you can go in this thing and you can sit up here and complain about all these opportunities that they're giving you. But why? Why? I love when something is really already really bad, because when something's really already bad, you only can go in one direction. I can only go in one direction. So I'm over here like, what can you do to make the best of this?
Mm.
What can you do to make the best of this? So, if you just think about it, what can you do to make the best of this situation? Because at the end of the day, are you really going to be able to make them do what you want them to do?
Mm-mm. No.
You just basically told me that the manager trying to leave with the coach. So the manager and the coach, they like this. And if they like this, how you going to win that battle? You try to go over their head, but that's going to get you fired. So you're not trying to be a dead Scrum Master anytime soon. So if you don't want to be a dead Scrum Master, the question is, what can you do? What what you can do is just shut your mouth and deliver
Mm.
and let them see the fruits of your labor.
Right.
Let them see that you are knocking things out. Let them see that you are making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, you make a very different kind of name for yourself, right? The
Mm-hmm.
kind of name that you make for yourself is one of where they're going to come back and they're going to always come to you for some of the hardest stuff in the building. And you know what that does with your experience? Well, I'm going to say the density of your experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you want. You just don't want any old kind of experience. You want dense experience.
The truth.
That dense experience is going to take you places that you dreamed about going and take you
Mm-hmm.
even further than those places, right? Back when I was here, okay, in your position or in that position, the current position that you're in, I wasn't thinking about being a certified Scrum trainer. I wasn't. I wasn't thinking about that at all. I had no clue that's something. Matter of fact, I turned down that possibility because I didn't have enough. I told myself I didn't have enough experience. Plus, I was intimidated too, so that's another reason. But I just didn't have enough experience. I didn't have enough stories, right? And so, if you really think about it, where you're at right now, you can potentially get so many stories that you can crush what everybody else's experience is like.
Yeah.
You could potentially work through so many problems. So now, the question becomes, when you walk through those doors tomorrow, when you get online with them, what is your perspective going to be now?
I'm gonna win. I don't know the how, but I'm gonna win. Um, I know this is a goal of mine, and I know just based off my experience in life,
Mm-hmm.
I thrive. Eventually, I always thrive
Mm-hmm.
in situations like this.
Well, I would say to you,
Yeah.
you already thriving,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now all you gotta do is just show them how great you are.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. You've already, you've already been through this before. Now you just gotta go ahead and show and prove once again and show how great you are and let people see what your greatness is. Let people see the person that you are, but let them see that through your actions, not through just talking about it. There's so
Mm,
many people out here. You know how many people lie on their resumes, right? And really don't have the experience. You know how many people go out here and they talk a good game, but really can't deliver a good game? I'm going to say to you that's probably 75% of the Agile community. That's a majority, right? That's a vast majority. Many places will say it's more a quorum, right?
mm,
And so now you get to put yourself in a position where you don't have to be one of those people.
right.
You don't have to be one of those people. And nobody, by any stretch of the imagination, nobody's saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy at all. But the good thing is that you can always come back here and cry on my shoulder and we can talk about it. You understand what I'm saying? When I
Yeah.
went through that, I didn't have no people that looked like this that was around me.
Exactly.
There's something about being the first, but I didn't have no people that looked like me that was around me. I didn't have no people that was from the south side of Chicago, had grew up in poverty and was like me. I did not have people who had the experience that I had. I did not have people that had slaves in their background or had family members that did the Trail of Tears. I did not have anybody that I knew that was like that. Not within that space. Right? And so now, with all the trials and tribulations you already been through, this should be a breeze, girl.
Yeah.
This should be a breeze. What about this is not going to be easy for you?
It's it's letting go of this, and this is the challenge,
Mm-hmm.
having to not trip over the fact that I have someone who is constantly breathing down my neck and ready to judge anything and everything, and just going forward anyways, because I'm having to tell myself what this person may think about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's really none of my business. I have to do this job to the best of my ability.
This is truth. But I'll,
Yeah.
I'll say it to you. You know, life is an interesting thing, right?
Yeah.
Back when I worked at Capital One, I had an experience where I do family tree research. Okay, so I do genealogy a whole ton. I've been doing it since I was 8 years old, and so I decided to go and find some more information on my family that lives in Southern Virginia. And I said, hmm, I ran into a situation where I had a grandparent, great great grandparent, who didn't show up in the right place in 1870. But I found her, and I found the slave owner that owned her. And I was able to identify the family that descended from that slave owner. And I went to go meet them. Did she have something on the wall that said she was from the Daughters of the Confederacy? You know, all these wonderful statues that was put up? Yeah. But did I care about her opinion? I didn't. Because for me to learn more about my family, I have to go through her. And it doesn't matter that I gotta go through her. I'ma go through her. Because I can't get to my goal unless I go through her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna sit up here and do no song and dance for you. I'm done with
Mm-mm.
that. You
Mm-mm.
understand? We was begging for it in the 60s. I'm not gonna keep knocking on the door and asking and begging. You know, at some point, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
And you can take this opportunity and take charge of it. And the truth is, if they in your face all the time, get in their face all the time, right? They keep asking you to give them stuff, give them a hell of a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
If they're asking, hey, where are you at with this? You know what I'm gonna do? As soon as they get in, you know what? I just want to show you where we at with this. So you have access to it. I don't want you to feel like you don't have what you need. And every time when they ask me something, I'm gonna double down on them and make sure I get them more of that.
Mm.
I'm gonna inundate them with so much information that they're gonna be like, please stop. Please stop.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what I'm doing? I'm gonna tell them I'm doing it because I love to do this. And
Mm.
I wanna make sure that you have what you need. But if
Mm-hmm.
you don't need it, then just let me know and I can stop doing it. I have no problem giving people more than what they want. So now, because guess what? I'm gonna tell you a secret. For all that stuff that I gotta produce, and hopefully they're paying you. Are you salaried?
Hourly
Okay,
rate.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Hourly is the point.
Mm-hmm.
They pay you for every hour of silliness that they want to do.
Ooh.
Come on now! Come on now! Do you understand? Do you not understand that? They are paying you for every hour of this silliness that they want you to do. So if they
I,
want you to go grab an Excel sheet and make something that's really not Scrum-like and is dumb to do and it's an administrative job, they are paying you X amount of dollars for an administrative job.
it's true.
So
It's true.
there's no reason to complain.
Right.
There's no reason to complain.
Right.
Do you do you understand? I don't understand how people in Scrum be like, you know what? I know that Scrum says no documentation. And I'm not going to go make this little Gantt chart where I can create these pretty little boxes in Excel sheet. I'm not going to do that, even though they pay me the same amount of money to do that silliness.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand. I don't understand why we complain about doing easier work. I know it may not be perfect, but who cares? That hour that you spend creating the Excel sheet is the same hour that you're gonna be spending with them fussing and fighting at you.
Mm-hmm.
Which one you rather do? Have them fussing and fighting at you, or create the Excel sheet? I'd rather create the Excel sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So the question becomes: if you really just sit back and think about your emotions before we got on this call, they seem silly now, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what it does to us. We hear about what the ideal thing should be and what the perfect thing should be, and we think that is going to be reality, and it's just not. It's just not. We get to a place where we feel a little bit uppity, a little bougie about it, right? And we feel like we need to be treated a certain way and all these great things. And I you need to be treated a certain way. Nobody should disrespect you, no doubt, right? But my statement is, do your thing, make your money, position yourself so you can walk out the door whenever you choose.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really matters. What matters is you want to be a consultant that got X number of dollars put away. So and then when somebody sneezes at you the wrong way and you done with that sneeze, they breath stank. You can just say, you know what, I'm done. I'm out of here.
I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah. I'm out of here. It's no big deal. Hey, no problem. Oh, you want me to stay a little bit? Nah, that's okay. I don't need to. I got everything set over here, so I'm good to go. So you just want to be in a position where you can leave. A lot of people be wondering why I don't, like a lot of times my contracts end versus me getting fired. I don't really get fired that much. But a lot of people wonder why I have no problem with not having an opportunity. Because I try to set up life in a way where it's like this. No bumps. You understand?
Yeah.
And so in Bearded Eagle, if a few additional people pay for a class, cool. A few less people pay for a class, cool. It's cool. It's all right. It's okay. I'm not complaining. So we got to get out of this place where we're complaining about people wanting us to do easier work for the same amount of money. For the same money. And I'm telling you, there are times I've fought days about something. And at the end of the day, management got exactly what they wanted. It wasn't even worth the fight.
Right.
Also, I learned this lesson too. And this is something I talk about sometimes. But I remember unfortunately, the biggest change agents typically are assassinated. The biggest ones are assassinated. Okay? This is important to say to you because you see it in life, like a Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. You see it in life. But the same thing happens in our professional world. And one of the things that I learned, one of my mentors said this to me about, the various movements. That people fought for a lot of different things. But what he gave me was an example of a black female attorney who worked for a law firm that was all white. And instead of doing the Black Power thing, she decided to work in the system to change the system. And my understanding from this person is that that firm became one of the firms that had the most diversity of women and every other thing that exists, right? But a lot of it likely started from her small changes.
Mm-hmm.
And small changes turn into big changes. And the best way I could say to you is this: you want to find the smallest hinges that swing the biggest doors.
Mm.
Because the ones that are much more visible are the ones that typically get assassinated. So it's very important that you understand the distinction between that and how much do you really want to ruffle the feathers. I tend to ruffle feathers when it's time for me to go.
Mm.
Especially when it's something I really want to do and I'm still learning. And so if you go back to Devon in 2005 and 2006, 2007, 2008, before I got my big boy pants on, right? I wasn't trying to be a dead scrum master.
You're right.
I wasn't trying to be a dead scrum master. I was not. I still have to go to my peeps. I still got to go to my family. I still got to go to my friends, and I wasn't. And so my statement to you is find those small hinges. Find those small hinges, because evolutionary change tends to stick. Revolutionary change, the colonizers tend to change it back.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you are just going to have to sit back and say to yourself, am I trying to be a dead scrum master? I'm assuming the answer to that is no. This opportunity right here is probably the best resume building opportunity that I have available to me right now. How can I parlay this into something that is going to be beneficial for me 15 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
15 years after I leave this place. When I told you I we delivered the first application, scanner check and deposit in the bank. That got delivered in 2008. And I'm saying that to you today. 13, 14 years later. That's the stories you have the opportunity to build. And you have the opportunity to build that with a well-known brand.
Mm-hmm.
I would say don't let that opportunity go. I would say
Right.
run your experiments, enjoy your time there, because you're not going to be there forever, and you know what's going to happen. You're going to move on to someplace else, and you're going to relish the time that you had. And you're going to
Mm-hmm.
wonder, how the hell did I do this? Because you know what I
Mm-hmm.
wonder? How the heck did I deal with 17 different teams? Not so good, but the best that I could.
Mm-hmm.
Not so good, but the best that I could. Was it perfect scrum? It was non-perfect scrum, right?
Mm.
Which again, it's okay, because I wear the scars. You understand?
Right.
I take those scars that I've earned, and I just sometimes look at them and just remember. So, I think you probably got a different perspective now.
I do. Yep.
I hope you do. Because the truth of the matter is, we could talk about the problem that you have had all day, and the one issue that you have with that problem is you have no control over it.
Right.
So why focus on that something that you have no control over? Because I was going to talk to you about the fact that you, of what we can do about that, but screw that. We can talk about what you can do, and
Mm-hmm.
screw them. So
Right.
hopefully that helped.
It
I think we
does.
spent all our time here,
Yeah.
but that's a serious question.
Yeah.
Um, and to be truthful, if I wasn't a certified Scrum trainer, um, this is the answer I would give you as a person that is not an ideal trainer type person. That's my real answer. So, any other thoughts? Any other questions?
Yeah. I like this a lot. And something I've been asking myself before, like I now have a routine after last week. Before I go in, one of the things I ask myself now is, what do I need to do my job well? Really, really well. And also, I found myself saying, okay, do you need a place to work remotely? So you're, because I work next to this person and I get more done when I take time. I give myself space to, like, I can go outside on the campus and work,
Mm-hmm.
or they have plenty of rooms to work because people are working at home. So it's hybrid. So I find myself working more in peace and I can get more done as opposed to getting so distracted,
And that's
you
okay.
know?
That's okay.
So,
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You're taking care of yourself and you're being productive in doing it.
exactly.
That's what you should do. You do whatever it takes for you to survive there as long as you can.
Hmm.
That's it. There's no
Yeah,
secret to that. That's what you do.
right.
But my statement to you is a little bit different. As I've said to many people, use Scrum to help yourself improve.
Mm,
Right now, you can run 1 day sprints. In the morning, what are you doing right now? Coming in, making a plan. Sprint planning, right?
mm-hmm.
Every day that you leave, you could look at your product, review your day, and then talk about action items you're going to have for tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
and let those feed into your next day. So you can do this. No question.
Yeah.
Don't let them run you out of that place. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, you run them up out of there through
Oop.
the positive stuff you're going to do, through the greatness that you're going to ultimately show, through the other people that are going to get behind you because you're delivering value
Mm-hmm.
and not talking about
Mm. Yeah. And I like that. And that's my gut saying, say less.
it.
Say
Say less.
less than less.
Say less. Show proof.
Mm-hmm.
Say less. Show proof. Say
Mm-hmm.
less. Show proof. That's all you need to do. It's
Yeah.
almost like I would write that somewhere on a wall. Say
Yeah.
less, show proof.
Yep.
Say less, show proof. The more you do that, because that's exactly what I did. And I'm telling you, if I had not had that experience that I had, I would not be here today as a trainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't be. So, yeah,
Right.
so you let me know how it goes there.
Okay.
You're going to have tough times. You're always welcome to come back here. You know, I
Definitely.
will be real with you about it. And I'm always going to say things that make sense. I'm not going to tell you things that don't make sense to me or that I would tell somebody else in private. I call it the all unfiltered call in show because it's about realness here. And the realness is you go get your money, get your stories. And then at
Mm-hmm.
some point, if you want to leave, you move on to wherever else your greatness takes you. and you do that and do the best of it, you leave it all on the field, and I guarantee you, nobody will have anything to say or can do anything about how dangerous you're going to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just make sure every once in a while you come back in and check in with me and let me know how it's going.
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. Come back anytime. You need anything, you know how to reach me,
All right. I'll be back.
okay? All right, then have a good one, okay?
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, everyone. For everyone that stayed around, that was amazing. It was an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed that conversation because it just reminds me of me. Maybe that's a little bit selfish, but that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of me. I remember those times. I remember how tough that was. I remember going through those things. I just clearly remember it, right? And every time I get to have a conversation with any of you all, it gives me the opportunity to be reminded of those times. And it gives me an opportunity to give you a story. And hopefully it's a story that sparks something in you for you to go be the greatest version of you that you can be. On that note, everybody, I'm going to say I really, really appreciate you joining. Thank you so much. This is always a pleasure. It's always a major, major plus for me. And I'm going to say to you, have a good one. Peace. Peace. I told myself I'd do that one day. But anyway, I'll talk to you all soon. Have a good one, y'all. Thank you so much.